Good morning again. We will now resume this special council meeting. And just in the interest of safety, because we've got one member of the public, there is no fire drill expected. So it shouldn't be any. If there is, please make your way to the end of the car park and get it out of that. Please make sure everyone that the mobiles are switched off or silent, because we don't want to be interrupted, because we might be here till dark else. Apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members. We've got apologies this morning from Councillors Cooper, who is on the Teams link to the meeting, Councillors De Winter, Councillor Eadie, who's also on the Teams link, Councillor Hancock, Councillor Hawkins, Councillor Jackson, and Councillor Rake, who is also on the Teams link. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could we have declarations of interest, please? Is there any interest on any of this paper that's going forward? Councillor Brazil.
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to declare an interest because I'm also a county councillor, and we will be discussing this same issue on Thursday at the county council. But just to say that we've been given dispensation, and I've signed a thing, and that's been agreed amongst the legal officers. So I will be able to speak and vote in this debate. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to pass over, if I may, to the monitor.
Chairman, the same, please.
Sorry.
Just before you go to the monitor officer, same position for me, Chairman.
Yeah.
And for Councillor.
And the same for myself. I've requested this a day further.
Yeah. I'll now, if I may, pass over to the monitor officer for his explanations on this.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. All twin-hatted members will a dispensation, which for those three that are present, I have happily agreed already. I can say that that is a position which I understand from the county monitoring officer. She will also be taking or giving dispensations for those who are district members who are then going to speak at the county. So we're as one.
Thank you very much. There is one. Right, if we can now go into council, and I will ask Councillor Birch, if I may, to introduce the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I suggest that before I put forward the recommendation, that if any members have any questions on the papers that were circulated on Friday afternoon, the ones that were sent out, I think it was, yes, it was Friday afternoon. Can I just suggest, Mr. Chairman, that there be questions only relating to the papers as opposed to general matters? And then once we've dealt with that, then perhaps I could move on to the recommendation.
Right, you heard that. Is there any questions on the paper that you all received on Friday? Yeah.
Thank you. I was just hoping to get some clarification for our town and parish councils on how this might affect them that we can pass on when doing our reports. Thank you.
The white paper, which is the subject of the item on the agenda, is, I understand to be corrected, that there is no mention at all of reorganisation of town and parish councils. However, there is a reference in the recommendation to any consultation with town and parish councils concerning any reorganisation proposals that come forward.
Thank you. Could I ask Councillor Birch, do you feel that the mandate for the senior team is sufficient within the statement? I know that you have the word mandate, but given the speed, the need to negotiate, to answer questions, etc., do you feel that that is sufficient within this proposal?
Yes, I'm happy that the recommendation gives the necessary mandate and authority to the leader and to the chief executive in their dealings with outside bodies, other parties, etc. Can I just say the recommendation that is before you was to a certain extent I was consulted with the chief executive, and he raised various points which have been addressed.
You okay with that, Councillor Yardley?
Thank you. Yes.
Good. Councillor Upwood.
Thank you, Chairman. Can I ask, please, this all seems to be very rushed. We were given notification 2 days before the break-up for Christmas, and I'm disappointed that members haven't had much discussion about this. Can you give me details, please? Can I ask the leader if he can give details, please, of the discussion, and the chief exec, of the discussions that have taken place with Devon County Council over the Christmas period, please?
Yeah, I'll ask the chief exec to come in on that one first, if I may, please.
So, if I can help first in terms of government announcements. So, I accept the point you're making, Councillor Hopwood, about the speed with which things are progressing. All I can say is that the government published its white paper on Monday, the 16th of December, and that was followed by correspondence from the Minister for Local Government, which was issued on the same day, which pointed to various decisions that could potentially be taken in the time frame up until the 10th of January. The Minister was inviting upper tier authorities in particular to respond to a potential opportunity within that time frame. Consequently, that's framed the time frame for this special council meeting. So I agree with you. It has been difficult to keep all members informed. I'm sorry about that, but obviously we've done our best over the Christmas and New Year period. But that is the key reason. I will pass over to the leader in order to provide further clarification.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Nikki. Yeah, just to say that as leader of South Hams and all my fellow leaders of the council, of the district, city and borough councils in Devon, have not been contacted or consulted by Devon County Council at all. I'm also a county councillor. We will be debating a paper on Thursday. Those papers have not been published yet, so we don't know what we'll be debating. And also to say that we did have an appointment for the Devon District for Team Devon, I should say, which consists of all the leaders of the councils, the parish councils, the Dartmoor National Park, for a meeting on Wednesday with the county that the county chairs. That meeting has been cancelled without any notice. Well, the notice is that it's been cancelled, but no reason given. I would have thought that to discuss the future of local government in Devon would have been quite high on the agenda, but we have not had any opportunity to discuss it with county.
Right, any further questions, Councillor? Thank you. I'll allow you to come back and finish your statement, Councillor Birch.
Thank you. Could I ask that the slide goes to number 3, please, the beginning? Thank you. No, right at the beginning of the recommendation, sorry. No, it's got following the publication. Sorry. So that's right, we're there. Good. Okay. I'd like to move the recommendation that was circulated late yesterday afternoon. I'm proposing this, and this is seconded by Councillor Bonham. So perhaps Councillor Bonham could just at this stage just confirm that he seconds the recommendation.
Yeah, confirmed.
Councillor Bonham.
Yeah, confirmed.
Thank you. Although the heading of this item on the agenda is the English Devolution White Paper, what in fact the recommendation deals with the issues arising out of that part dealing with reorganisation and the formation of unitary authorities. So this recommendation just deals with that particular issue. Now, I believe that we as a council, we're facing one of our biggest challenges. The government, as me mentioned, the government just before Christmas sought to call an end to our existence. And in response, Devon County Council is trying to bounce us into an early surrender by seeking to claim that there is an agreement between all councils in Devon and Torbay to move forward as one unitary authority of a population of just under 1 million, double the government's recommended number for unitary authorities. There is an opportunity arising out of this recommendation that we as a council do not want a Devon County Council Mark II with increased responsibilities, which invariably they will mess up. One of the consequences of a Devon Mark II will certainly be the loss of non-statutory services such as leisure centres. Now, Devon County Council, as we all know, is being classified as a near bankrupt council, and in many respects, it is a disaster all round. Doesn't seem to have heard of community engagement. So why should we as a council be bounced into becoming subsumed into this morass of ineptitude? We, like other district councils in Devon, have made it very clear that the oversized creature that Devon is seeking to create is a non-starter. And this has been clearly set out in the joint leaders' letter, which this recommendation confirms its its support for. So it's very clear that as part of Devon's approach is to seek to call an end to the elections in May. Well, we're against that, or this recommendation is against that, along with the other district councils. The recommendation makes our position very clear and gives support to future positions being adopted by not only the leader but also the chief executive in their future discussions or negotiations with other parties and an approach to the government. It's clear that we need time to carefully consider and plan our future and not be rushed into a shotgun marriage. We should consider all our options and take our time in doing so. And doing this, we shall need to consult with residents, businesses, community organisations, town and parish councils. I believe the recommendation gives a clear steer to leaders, to the leader and the chief executive in not only this council's position, but the way forward. And therefore I hope that the recommendation will have the full support of council. And just in finishing, I'd just like to say that we, I'm sure you'll all support what I say in that we support the staff in all they're doing, and they're very much in the front of our mind. The situation that has been created brings about a lot of uncertainty, but we as a council will need to do all we can to give assurance to our staff who are doing a very, very valuable job for the community that they have our backing and support. Thank you. I move the recommendation.
Thank you. Is there any questions? No?
I've already had questions, Chairman. I think you were.
We've already had the questions.
Councillor Hopwood was signalling something.
Yeah, sorry, Councillor Hopwood.
Yeah, I was thinking about a question, but I'll say one now. So on the further down on that recommendation, it says, therefore the council therefore the council mandates the leader to write to the government on its behalf, outlining the council's concern. I would ask if you would consider just copying in the opposition leaders in any correspondence. I think that's only fair because, you know, we all have to be involved in this. So I would like main opposition. I would like opposition leaders to be copied in on any correspondence.
Can I just say I'm absolutely, I think absolutely right to do that. In fact, I'll go further and say that I'll copy that to all members of the council. Doesn't mean doesn't mean you can then rewrite it, but I will copy it so you know exactly what I'm saying. And obviously, if there are massive discrepancies, please do let me know. But yeah.
Thank you. If we're
Thanks. I fully support this, and I was going to second it, but there was an addition added, which I'm not entirely convinced helps the cause. So I just want to highlight that where the bulk of the text here pretty much says what needs to be said, I think. And it opens up the possibility of a dialogue. In the end, the district councils are a goner. I mean, we ought to fight, but we ought to fight to try and achieve something which is the best possible outcome, which I think is probably 2 unitary authorities, but where that ends up, who knows. What I don't like about the addition is that it's a bit, from my perspective, a bit table thumping and is closing doors and doesn't seem to be consistent with the previous text. So where it starts to say, as such, this council strongly opposes the government's current proposals, and then the bullet points thereafter. I don't know if you can show that piece of the text. It's sort of like 2/3 of the way down.
As such.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry. It's a bit table thumping, and it's not consistent with the previous paragraph where it talks about the South Council recognises the government's white papers, sets a clear direction of travel, and that is opening up a door for dialogue. This seems to be immediately closing it again. It goes on to talk about the government has no mandate for abolishing district councils. I don't actually think that the government needs a mandate. It has a legislative framework which it is exercising, and it is what it relies on in the white paper anyway. So I don't think that makes an awful lot of sense in this context. So I would like to propose that section is removed, and then I would be more than happy to support the rest of it, which I think is pretty much says everything that needs to be said.
Okay. Mr. Chair, can we first of all deal with the amendment that was proposed by Councillor Hopwood? If we could deal with that first. As the mover of the recommendation, I'm happy to accept that. If Councillor Bonham is happy to accept it as well, yes, then that can be included within the substantive recommendation. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. That's fine.
Can I ask a question? Yes. I'm not clear what the wider membership is. I'm not sure who we're talking about here. Please, can someone clarify that?
Well, I would read that as all councillors.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
So now I think, but if Councillor Mackay is proposing an amendment, before Councillor Bonham speaks, can we make it clear as to what that amendment is, and has he got a seconder?
Okay. It's still on. So, it's the removal of the paragraph that begins as such. Yes, and this is an amendment I'm proposing. As such, this council strongly opposes down to and the bullets that follow it. So I'm proposing that that section be removed, and I would welcome a seconder, if there is one.
Have we a seconder for that, please? No.
Chairman, I'll second it. I'm actually not going to vote for it, but I will second it because I think it's important that something like this, that as many views are heard. I have to say, I agree with a lot of what. I mean, I agree with all the sentiments in that, but I agree with John's logic about that. Actually, in a way, that's our opinion of what's being done to us. And if we were saying if we were government, we wouldn't have done this. But I think that there are two slightly contradictory strands there.
Okay, right. We now need to debate the amendment. Who's going to start that one, please?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I appreciate the feedback, and I understand the point from Councillor Mackay that, you know, this is a different sentiment here in the second part from the words as such as Council strongly opposes. And these were the words that I added to Councillor Birch's original proposal. And I ask us to hold two thoughts in our mind at the same time, which I don't think should be all that challenging to councillors. The first thought is that we need to work for the future. We need to decide what is best for the residents of South Hams, and we need to recognise that we have to work with other councils. This is the direction of travel that the government has mandated, and there needs to be a way through this that is the best outcome for residents of South Hams and for the services that we provide. And that is the direction that is put forward by the first part of this motion. At the same time, we can hold the thought that this whole strategy of unitarisation and the abolition of South Hams and our sister councils in Devon and across the country is a bad step for a whole number of reasons. And I perhaps go into a few of them in a few moments. But we can oppose the unitarisation and the abolition of this council. And I think it's important that we say to our residents why it's wrong. And if we don't say now why it's wrong, when are we going to say that? At the same time, recognising that we need to take action. The government, John, on the point of a mandate, the government may have the legal powers. I'm not quibbling that. But they don't have a moral mandate for doing this. This was not mentioned in the Labour manifesto. It could have been included. Yes, it's happened in the past, but it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. This is a change in the governance of our country. It's a change in the constitution, one would think. Although we don't have a written constitution, the government can do whatever they want, or the parliament can, by voting. And I think there should have been a notification this was the intention of the government. There should be better consultation with us. There should be feedback from this council and others before this is put in place. In terms of the issues around value for money, it's a waste of money. It's not going to result in any savings. It's going to result in worsening services. And I think we'll be merged with a much larger organisation in Devon County Council or split up in some other way. And I think we need to say quite clearly, not just verbally, but in a written form, why we have concerns and why we think this is a negative step. So I hope the amendment or the rejection of this wording in red can be turned down by councillors, by members today, and that we can hold those two thoughts in mind about the future at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bonham. Councillor Dennis.
Thank you. I suspect the extra wording is what will end up being put in the letter that we are writing to the government. And as members have said before, I think it's really helpful if we can give the leadership a really clear mandate of what this council thinks. So I think I would support the wordings and the extra detail remaining in this motion, because then we can all vote on it and we'll be and that will give a clear idea for our leaders to negotiate going forward.
Councillor Allen, did you want to come in? You had your hand up just now. Who was it? Hodgson. Councillor Hodgson.
Thank you. So this is just speaking on the amendment now. When I put my hand up, I heard it was on the piece. But anyway, either way, I actually don't agree with the amendment to remove those pieces. I think it's actually valuable information, as has already been said, so I won't repeat that. But rather than sort of speak further on, put my hand up again, just to say that I think generally what's been put forward here is very good, very strong. Fully agree with it. I know that my fellow Greens agree with the points that are being made and the general direction that we're trying to sort of address this on. I would just add, in terms of points, I think it's just more national government moving the deck chairs, wasting public funding, which really they should, if they were really determined to support our local authorities and showed that they understood what the problems are, I think they would hold back for at least a couple of years and just put the money that they're going to be spending on this changeover, put that money directly into our services as is urgently needed. We've got really outstanding maintenance problems on our roads and NHS, all sorts of things that really need sorting out. And this is just more clumsy behaviour, I think, from this government who's come in and is, to me, quite frankly, seems less competent than I think we all hoped they would be. So I think this is a really good response, and I think it needs a very strong response. And certainly, in terms of Devon County Council behaving in the way they are, I think that's pretty outrageous, quite frankly. So I will certainly be voting for the the motion that's been put forward, but I'm happy to have the wording that's in there retained rather than removed by this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nix.
I don't want to speak on the amendment. I wanted to speak in the main debate.
Is you on the amendment? Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Can I just say, look, I proposed the amendment to abolish. I said I was going to abstain. I think, having heard the discussion, and particularly what Sam said about how it gives us stronger, it gives me as the leader the mandate of that's the feeling of the council. I think I'll probably vote against it, despite the fact that I seconded it. Changed my mind. Yeah.
Can I accept defeat and withdraw the amendment?
Thank you. Is it forward? That's an opinion. Councillor Hudson, did you want to come in on this?
Well, as I just said, I've spoken on both points when I spoke earlier. So yeah, just to reiterate that the Green group here, and myself included, fully support this motion going forward and welcome the response that's been put together. And also just to say that in terms of what would be lost here, what would be lost would be an incredibly strong and knowledgeable and bond of team of staff that we have in this council, who I think have do an excellent job. And we've only really, in some ways, not long recovered from all the T18 sort of reorganisation. And I think that what this government may discover, it's going to cost them a lot more than they think when you think of all the costs of recruitment and redundancies. And particularly this council got clobbered far more hard than it expected to. And that's the problem. When you do all this reorganisation, you lose good staff. And I think that's one of the really valuable assets that we should bear in mind.
Thank you. Councillor Hopwood.
Thank you, Chairman. I reiterate what Councillor Hodgins has said about the staff. I think the staff in this organisation... What have I done? I just think the staff in this organisation are invaluable, and we have such a high calibre of staff. I hope, Chief Executive, that you're going to hold a staff meeting or briefing, whatever you call them these days, and reassure all the staff that they are, I think, at the top of our list of priorities when going through this process, because without good staff, we won't get a good outcome. We may not get a good outcome anyway, but without good staff, our outcome probably will not be as good as it could be. And our staff are just, having been here since 1999, and a lot of them have been here not much less time than that, I think they're invaluable to the organisation. Darryl was a little boy when he first joined. And I think they need protecting and they need reassuring. And I think, as do our residents. Our residents need assuring that we as members we'll work as hard for them now as we always have done. And just because we're on an unknown path, it doesn't mean that we will work any less for our residents. And district, and it's always been my view that district councillors are on the ground. They are the closest people to the residents. And I believe at county you become detached from your residents. I think at district level, which is why I've never ever gone any further in my career politically, is because I didn't want to lose the disconnect between the working on the ground with residents and going up further. The only thing I would ask is that in the recommendations, can we actually see the recommendations themselves? Because we mentioned there's a paragraph in here about the council not supporting the county election scheduled for May 2025, but that's not actually in the recommendations, is it? So where does that sit? Because if it is, I don't think it's part of a recommendation, or am I? It is. So, right.
Last paragraph. Third paragraph.
Oh, I didn't realise that was right. So that third paragraph, could that please be a separate recommendation on its own? And could we please have a separate vote on that? And I'm hoping that the proposer and seconder will be happy to accept that. I've spoken to John.
So this is part of the recommendation.
Yeah, I'm asking you to put it into two recommendations.
Why does it need to be but can I just go right to the end of the recommendation? Therefore, the council, in fact, item 2 supports the joint statement issued by the leaders of the 8 district councils throughout Devon. That clearly states that all the district councils are opposed to the postponement of the elections in May, and therefore it's not only within the recommendation as we saw a moment ago, but it's also confirmed here that we support the joint statement, which clearly states that all district councils are against postponing the election. So I think it's belt and braces.
Can I bring the monitoring officer on this one to just clarify what? Hang on a minute. Yeah, Jess, I want to bring in David to clarify if it's.
Yeah, Chairman, I'm quite happy that the joint statement referred to the elections and unwillingness to support them being postponed, and that is what is incorporated into 2. So I think I agree with what Councillor Birch said, and it's covered.
Councillor Hopgood, come back.
Chairman, could we please take the recommendations, instead of taking them all together, could we take them one at a time then, please? Because there are members that may not support recommendation. That's the so. Yeah. So the issue. Right, I'll leave it because the leader knows what I'm.
Yeah. Can I just say, from my point of view, and for strengthening my hand, I would like it to be as unanimous as possible for as much of it as possible. And I feel that there may be members who don't support a single unitary, but do support the delay of the elections. I mean, I don't agree with that, but that may be their position. And so on 2, if we could have that as supports a joint statement, A, not having a single council, and B, delaying the elections. And if we take A and B separately, I don't know if that's possible. I'd like to see that. John, if you're happy to split recommendation 2.
Councillor Birch.
Can I suggest a simpler way rather than that? Is that item 2 supports the joint statement issued by the leaders of the 8 district councils throughout Devon, including its opposition to the postponement of the May, including. Yeah.
No, because the trouble is that people who don't want to delay the elections but are opposed to a single unitary would have to vote against, because it conflates the single unitary and the delay in the election. And like I said, I want to see as much unanimity as possible within the council, and if it's just on a tiny subsection within it, then that I think strengthens my hand.
I can understand this because it's two different items, to be honest, and I would support that we can actually split it if it's possible and have vote on each individual one.
Let's see what they would.
Okay.
Chairman, can I give you forewarning that 2B, I will be requesting a recorded vote if I can entice 4 or more of my colleagues to so support as such.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, Mr. Chairman, so that is the proposed amendment. So it needs a proposer, it needs a seconder.
I'll second it.
No, you haven't got, no, you are, we haven't got a proposer then, if you've got a second.
I'll do whatever. I don't care.
So,
I'll also stand up for a recorded vote.
We need to have a proposer and a seconder for this amendment.
Could we have a seconder for that, please?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. So can I?
Yeah. Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Do we want to?
Yeah. Recorded votes.
It's got to be. So do we debate that, or do the yes? Do we debate that?
Or you can accept it.
Okay. You agree?
Can I just be clear, Chair, what we're doing? We're accepting this wording in red, and then we're going to vote separately on A or B, A and B. Is that correct? Yeah. I am not necessarily approving A or B. I'm just accepting the change in wording. That I agree with. Okay, thank you, Chair. I'm happy.
Because what you'll be doing is voting whether that you agree with unitary, and then whether you agree that the elections are postponed or disagree, whichever case might be.
Yeah. Can I say I agree on the basis that I don't that it opens up democracy within the council, etc., and taking on board Councillor Brazil's point. So that's the reason for agreeing it being part of the main recommendation. Yeah.
Okay. David, okay with that? Yeah, he must be. I'll have to come back in if he's not. Yeah. Councillor Abbott.
Sorry, that I need clarification about what I'm going to be voting for.
We haven't got that yet.
No.
Just a point of a suggestion. Should we now not have a proposal that deletes either A or B, and so that we vote separately on A or B that becomes no? Okay.
No, because we need to debate now, really. So anybody, Councillor Nix.
Thank you, Chair. As one of the members for Wembury and Brixton, which is also in the outskirts of Plymouth, I have concerns for my residents that as Plymouth as a unitary, if it stays as a single, as it stays as a unitary authority, will incorporate some of my ward. It obviously has different needs as a rural community, which the South Hams know well, and the officers and staff of the South Hams District Council know it really well and work really well with the residents and support an understanding of their needs, which I'm not sure that Plymouth has. And I'm just really concerned that we have no more information on where the boundaries, and normally the boundaries would be discussed over a long time. So this coming in very quickly, I am very concerned about for the residents of my ward, and I'm sure other members in a similar situation will be as well.
Councillor Hopgood.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, as a member of a ward that lies on the edge of Plymouth and actually uses probably most of Plymouth's leisure facilities and libraries, my ward, the Woolwell ward, I'm extremely concerned. I haven't been able to ask my residents whether they would like to stay within the South Hams or a unitary Devon, or whether they would be happy to join up with Plymouth. And until I can ask them that, I can't support anything, because it's not. I'm representing residents who have a say, but it seems to me that no one, including the leader and chief executive, have been asked for their opinions.
Councillor Birch.
Yeah, can I answer that? First of all, if you look at item 3 on the screen, it says that this council will widely consult with its residents, businesses, community organisation and town and parish council once a firm reorganisation proposal is ready for consideration. So that deals with that point. As a point of order, it has been requested that we have a separate vote on the postponement of the county council elections. In other words, that seems to suggest that there are those who would like to see the postponement of the county council elections in May 2020. We haven't heard any reason why we as a council should consider agreeing to the postponement of the county council elections. So if we are going to consider that and vote on it, then could I ask the Councillor Hopwood, who's requested that, state why she wishes to see the postponement of the county council elections in May? I think it's, if we're going to vote on that.
Councillor Hopwood, would you like to come back?
Chairman, if I might just, I take your point, John. There, I think it's unfair to put Nikki on the spot there, because she may not necessarily agree with her party line or her group or whatever. But I think the reason why they've asked, if we go just to the factual point of view, the government has said that if they believe that the devolution and reorganisation can be sped up by delaying the elections, then they will consider delaying the elections. What we're saying, and it's quite clear in the paper and it says in the statement, that they would only do that if everyone was agreed, they knew what they were delaying the elections for, because they know what's going to come after that. And it's quite clear amongst Devon that we're not in that position. We have no idea what the structures will look like and what we will be delaying the election for. To be fair, it's been put forward by government to saying, if you want to, you can delay them. I'm going to be interested to hear at county why they think they should delay them. But I think the reason why they put that forward is because government has asked them to do it, not necessarily because people have got strong views here in this council. And while I've got the floor, can I just have my 10 pence worth, and just to say that we maybe have our political differences. I know we certainly do within our group. But what I will say is, I think the one thing that binds us all councillors in this council, and what makes me very proud to be leader of this council, is that, the thing that comes first and foremost for all of us is our local communities and our local residents. And I think whatever happens, that they can rest assured that we will do it as a council, and hopefully unanimously, to support what we think is best for our local communities. And it may not be what we want in the end, that what is forced upon us, but we will do everything in our powers to try and deliver what is best. Like I said, I'm incredibly proud to lead a council that I think is represented by 31 councillors who first and foremost put their communities first. Their communities come first and party second. So, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else like to come back on that? Councillor Oram. Oh, there's somebody up there. Oh, yeah, Councillor Rake.
Thank you, Chair. I just looking at item 3 there, and bearing in mind what the leader has just said, I've feared that the way that's worded, I think we should be consulting with residents, businesses, and community organisations in formulating a reorganisation proposal rather than presenting them with yet another fait accompli. I'm obviously not in a position to propose an amendment given that I'm not there, but I think this comes a little late if we wait until there's something, and then present something on the table. And I think we need to make sure that input comes from residents, businesses, and community organisations as part of the process rather than at the end of it. Thank you.
Councillor Birch, you get to come back.
Yeah, the wording is quite clear. At the end of item 3, it says, once a firm reorganisation proposal is ready for consideration. It doesn't mean it's a reorganisation proposal that we as a council have accepted. It's a reorganisation proposal is ready for consideration. And therefore, I think the concerns raised by Councillor Rake are clearly dealt with at the end of item 3.
Councillor Thomas.
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Birch, with respect, I think that's not quite what Councillor Rake means. What Councillor Rake wants to see is what we would all like to see if this process was being done properly. You're absolutely right, Councillor Rake, but this process isn't being done properly. There is no point in us asking parish councils what they would like to see, because it has been very, very clear that the government is going to tell us what it wants to see. That's the point. Unfortunately, you are spot on, Councillor Rake, in what you want to happen. But there was no point in us changing the wording, because we cannot. I am all for community engagement, and at every step of this council, I've been saying we should be doing more community engagement. But on this one, we can't put it out to engagement because there's no point. What that says is what will happen. We will get told what the reorganisation proposal looks like, and at that point, we will consult. We can't do it the other way around. Much as I would like to, I'm sure we would all like to, but that's just the reality.
Okay, Councillor Allen.
Thank you. It's a bit more of a sort of statement than a question, I suppose. Talking about local democracy, is that we've only just voted for the first time, possibly ever, for the district council in the South Hams to become Lib Dem, to remove the Lib Dems from power and to thereby give back county council, who are mainly Conservative, power over our area seems a complete slap in the face to local people who so clearly voted for the Lib Dems. Not to be political about it, but I think it was very clear. sorry. Not in a pointed political way. But I do think, and after that, to therefore then cancel the county elections when people who are at the end of their tenure, who are a Conservative-run council, to then remove the chance of replacing them with Lib Dems. I think we should clearly specify that we're ignoring the democratic choice of the people in this area. Thank you.
Can I just respond to a point that made a moment ago by Councillor Thomas, in that the 4th paragraph of the recommendation states, amongst other things, that any changes must be carefully considered, transparent and inclusive, ensuring that residents and businesses are fully engaged in shaping the future governance of Devon and Torbay. So it's actually dealt with earlier on in the...
I completely agree with you, Councillor Birch. I just don't think that will be allowed to happen. But I don't think that will be our problem. I think that will be done to us.
Councillor Penfold.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not going to be political at all. So, Conservative member, I'm going to vote against the proposal of delaying elections, okay? Because we all talk about talking about supporting our residents and that they have a need to say in the devolution. And yet some of us may be supporting actually the proposal of delaying the county council elections, which doesn't seem very democratic. We as members are elected officials and we make a commitment with our residents to have elections at specific times. At the moment, the proposal is they're going to be suspended and we have no specific time. To delay that will cause grave concern, I think. To delay that without a specific reason, such as war, COVID, we could argue whether that was a reasonable one or not, is to break that contract with our residents. So I'm not being political.
No, I agree. You said it much better.
Thank you. Yeah, Councillor McKay.
Can I mean, the reason that they're proposing to delay the elections until May 26 is it's premised on the idea that the unitary will be up and running by May 26, and this is part of the helter-skelter move towards a unitary. That is why they're proposing it.
Thank you. Anybody else in the debate? Councillor Long.
Thank you, Chairman. I will be supporting fully the proposals coming forward. I welcome the announcement by the leaders of the various district and borough councils and city council that came out. Yes, we could have known about it beforehand, but I think these things are moving so fast, and I think it was wholly appropriate, the leaders, and I was pleased to see that it was unanimous, and I think that really does say something to the government. One of the things I do take severe objection to is the leader of Devon County Council sort of coming out with a statement which seemed very undemocratic, was particularly in undue haste, without any consultation with other councils within Devon. I'm concerned that there are talks of efficiencies by the government in achieving, what they are, the route that we're on. And unfortunately, I think it is a route we're on. It is an unknown path that we're on. I don't like the direction it's going in. One of the things that this statement, our proposal, is giving the leader and the chief executive and others involved the ability to shape change. And I think that is what we've got to do. I recognise that it may be foisted upon us, but we've got to do all we can to shape any change. If there is change, we need to ensure that services continue, the discretionary services continue. And I still have a concern and a firm belief that if it isn't broke, you don't need to fix it. The district and borough councils across across Devon have shown that they can work effectively, efficiently, they can work together. And what I'd prefer to see there is, that there is a proposal obviously for a strategic authority out there, possibly with a mayor above it. Whether that really works or not is another thing. But if that is to come, I'd much prefer to see the district and borough councils retained under a strategic mayor. I think that would work far more effectively for our residents, and residents would have the ability, as they do now, to have direct contact with councillors, as has already been said, who are there to serve their residents. And what I don't see in the proposals coming forward is that democratic element there. What I see with the proposals coming forward, certainly from the proposal 1 Devon-wide, is a democratic deficiency. We will not have democracy at the level that we have now. We may sweep away one level of local democracy, but we still need to have the confidence of our residents. And I don't believe that what is being proposed by the government will have that confidence. So it pains me to say that, we are going to have to buckle under to this, but we've got to try and make it work for the area. I would not want to see areas of the South Hams rolled into Plymouth, because they don't deserve that. If Plymouth is to... my apologies to Plymouth, but I'll say it as it sounds. If Plymouth wishes to go its own, because it's a city, as a unitary authority, then by all means do so. But don't try and grab some of the South Hams. We are a fantastic community. If we can try and keep the South Hams in some form, that will be great. But I
as I'll go back to what I was saying, I fully support what we're saying here. I don't support a single unitary council solution for Devon. I don't support the postponement of the county council elections in May 25, May this year. It's too soon. We will have a democratic deficit if we postpone those elections. We do not know a time scale, and until we know a time scale, we run things. And can I just sort of finish by saying that we have difficulties as a council, but we still have to work through them. We still have to serve our communities, however long this takes. And I know every single member of this council will continue to do so. And I think that what we've got to do is to make sure that we continue serving our residents, that we provide the best that we possibly can to our residents, and that we make this known to the government that basically, as a council, we're doing a fantastic job. We may get things wrong. That's life. But I believe for the government to sweep away this level of government organisation is wrong. They haven't proven. It's rushed. Why? Give us time. Give us the opportunity to work together to come forward with a solution which works for everybody. And I think we could achieve that. So my vote and support is for the leader and the chief exec to go forward and try and achieve as much as they can out of this. And in the meantime, we will carry on working for our residents. And can I say, we'll carry on working for all of the staff in the South Hams who do a fantastic job. And I think that the staff, my concern, as has already been expressed, in any reorganisation, there is uncertainty, there's difficulty, and we need to give those staff the support because they still need to deliver. And I know they will deliver during this time. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor. I'm in total agreement with what you've said. I'd just like to see where the South Hams District Council, as a small council, can actually shape the future, because it's a government-led thing. And what weight can we put to it to do that? So perhaps a leader would answer that one.
Well, I mean, in the end, you know, as you say, Chair, I mean, we are, you know, we're beholden to central government. I mean, we will do everything we can to lobby, but it's come as a shock to all of us, really, that they have gone so far, so fast, which we think is a mistake. Whether they're going to be listening, I'm afraid the precedent is not good. But I think from what's happened here, I think, you know, we're pretty much unanimous on everything, you know, that we will be trying our hardest to get as much as we can out of government as we can. But in the end, if they decide, that's the way it goes, and we'll just have to try and get the best of a worse position.
Councillor Bonham.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just a question, if I may, a point of clarification. I spoke in the debate about the amendment, but do I also have the right to speak in summing up at a later stage? And if so, I'll defer till then, if I may. Thank you.
You need to sum up, but you can actually speak if you wish.
I prefer to sum up. Can I? That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Or with what?
John would do that. Councillor Birch.
Speak now.
You can speak now.
Good answer. Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you to Councillor Birch for accepting my amendment, and I appreciate that that's been included in the substantive motion. And I do think it's very, very important that we look to the future and we work out the best way for our residents in terms of shaping the organisation as much as we can, and being part of that and putting forward the needs of local residents for a fully functioning and well-organised setup in the future. Even though we might not like the direction of travel, it's certainly there. But we also need to face facts that this direction from the government will abolish South Hams District Council. We will be merged, subsumed, incorporated, dissolved, whatever you call it. And I think that is a great shame for us and for our residents. And that's mainly, as has already been said by Councillor Long, because we are delivering, this council's doing a good job. It's delivering services at high quality at a reasonable cost. We've got a very good leadership team. We've got a good staff team. We are looking at improvements. We're delivering good value for money, and we're financially under control. And those aren't my words. That is the words from the review that we had, the Corporate Peer Challenge, which reported in March about the good work that the council's doing, and it would be a great shame to lose that. But I do think we also need to make clear to our residents what's going to happen. And my view is, and perhaps I could go to one of the further pages that looks at the page that includes, therefore, while we welcome the government's objectives, etc. Therefore, while we welcome the government's objectives, and there are some good objectives in devolving power to regions and local communities that were outlined in the white paper, in practice, dissolving the district councils, including South Hams, and moving to unitary is not really going to achieve the things that the government have put as their goals. It's not going to save money, because there's no way that the small budget of South Hams, however much is saved, is going to make any jot or dent in the vast sum that Devon County Council are spending. We are tens of millions. Devon County Council are spending this year 1,837 million in service delivery. That's an increase of 127 million compared to previous year. 127 million increase. They overspent their budget last year by 53 million. Sorry to any Devon County councillors who might be defensive about this. Overspent by 53 million. We're spending tens of millions. So even if all of our budget's saved, it's a drop in the ocean. And in any case, we still need to have our waste collection teams. We still need to have our planners. We still need to have our environmental health managers. And we still need a management layer to look after all that. So where's the saving going to be? What's actually going to happen is that the financial pressures in Devon or any merged unitary authority are going to squeeze the services at the district council level, and services like leisure centres and toilets and waste collection or whatever it may be, the quality of those services is going to go down. And we need to be honest with our residents and explain that that's going to be the sad result of this supposed devolution or unitarisation. So it's going to divert resources to restructuring when services are already stretched. It's going to lead to a reduction in quality of the services that we currently operate. And people are going to wonder where their councillors are to answer those questions when services are worsened, and there won't be that many. So overall, I think it will sadly lead to a reduction in local democracy instead of more devolution of power. I think so-called devolution is going to be a bit of a dog's dinner, quite frankly, and that's why I believe we need to make a statement to oppose it, as well as doing the best for our residents in working out the best way forward for the future. So thank you very much.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I will ask Councillor Birch to... Councillor Allen, you want to say something before Councillor Birch winds up?
This may not be the right time to say this, but I was just wondering, not necessarily what our minister's been saying about it, but what have MPs across Devon been saying about this? Is this the right time to ask that question?
So I've spoken with the Lib Dem MPs. I haven't spoken to any other MPs across Devon. And to be fair to them, they're pretty much doing what we tell them. So that's good. But in the sense that they understand that we're the people on the ground and that understand it better than anyone else. I have to say that a number of our MPs were district councillors and county councillors, so they understand it as well. But I don't think that they've got any hard or fast views, and they're very much happy to support the direction that we move in.
Councillor Steele, you want to come in?
Thank you. Yes. So I guess on the point of election postponement and knowing that what will happen, whatever we think, then I think it seems there's more urgency to have new county council elections so that we and residents can vote in councillors who will fight for the South Hams, fight for our residents, not be under the whip hand of a Devon leader who wants to go their own way. So I would say we need those elections more than ever to have more local power. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, if there's nothing else, I will pass back to Councillor Birch to wind this one up.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So.
Councillor Hodge.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say that in terms of like what the wider political picture, Green councillors throughout Devon have actually been speaking together in the last couple of weeks on this and are in full agreement with what we're actually agreeing here today in terms of supporting district councils and not postponing the general election and the concerns around lack of democracy in all of this and consultation. So broad agreement, I think you would see from the Greens, and a statement is actually being issued today by those Green councillors. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Penfold, you've already spoken, so I'm going to move on to...
So had Councillor Hodgson.
Yeah.
But Councillor
No.
Hodgson spoke more than once. So I think
Let us speak.
Yeah. So stand there.
A bit of attitude, but not a load of attitude, Chairman.
Yeah, okay. I'll make this the last one then, okay?
Okay, so I wanted to speak to the leader Julian's comment about the MP about Caroline Voden. There was a report that on Interviewed on Politics Southwest. She said, "I personally think there's probably money to be saved if there was one council rather than 10 or 12 districts plus a county. There will be fewer elections to fight and fewer leaflets to deliver, which will be very welcome." I just thought I'd put that there.
Yeah, no, yeah, we put her straight.
Well done, leader. Right, now I will move on to Councillor Birch to wind this one up.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. I think it's been a very encouraging debate, and clearly I would hope that we're all at one in supporting the recommendation and sending a clear message to not only the county council but also to the government that we will not be bamboozled into a unitary authority that has not got the support of the district councils and others. Therefore, what has come out of this debate is that we as a council, we're well led, we're financially sound, and the last thing we want is to be abolished. And this is been supported by the peer challenge report that came out. What the last thing we want is to be bamboozled into being submerged into Devon Mark II. Secondly, it's clear that the last thing that we as a council and other councils will not be rushed into a decision without consulting those that are important, such as residents, businesses and community organisations. It's a non-democratic move by the county to seek to take control, which will not wash. And what's more is that not only do we want to, this recommendation sends a clear message that the last thing we want is to have a council whose probably first task will be to do away with non-statutory services such as leisure centres, etc. Therefore, thank you for all contributing during the debate, and I do hope this recommendation receives overwhelming support. Thank you.
Very much. Can I now move to Darryl, who will explain what we're voting on?
Thank you very much, Chair. During the debate, there was a potential request for a recorded vote on Part 2B of the recommendation on the screens. If that is to be the case, we need 5 members to be in support of a recorded vote for that part only. Thank you.
I think we should probably have a recorded vote on Parts A and B, and I'm happy to stand as one of 5.
We have more than 5, thank you, Chair. So the intention will be 2 separate recorded votes, one being for Part 2B only, and then the second one will be for parts 1, 2A and 3. Thank you. Therefore, Chair, if you're happy, should I begin?
Yes, please, if you would.
Thank you very much. So, for part 2B only, in alphabetical order, members, Councillor Abbott. Councillor Allen. Councillor Birch. Councillor Bonham. Councillor Brazil. Councillor Carson. Councillor Dennis. Councillor Dommett. Councillor Hodgson.
4.
Councillor Hopwood.
4.
Councillor Lawford. Councillor Long. Councillor Mackay. Councillor Callaghan. Councillor Nix. Councillor Oram. Councillor Pannell. Councillor Penfold. Councillor Presswell. Councillor Steele. Councillor Taylor. Councillor Thomas. And Councillor Yardy. That therefore, members, is 21 votes in favour with 2 abstentions, and part 2B is therefore declared carried. Thank you, Chair. So moving on to the remaining parts 1, 2A and 3. Councillor Abbott. Councillor Allen. Councillor Birch. Councillor Bonham.
4.
Councillor Brazil.
4.
Councillor Carson. Councillor Dennis. Councillor Dommett. Councillor Hodgson.
4.
Councillor Hopwood.
4.
Councillor Lawford.
4.
Councillor Long. Councillor Mackay. Councillor Callaghan.
4.
Councillor Nix. Councillor Oram. Councillor Pannell. Councillor Penfold. Councillor Presswell. Councillor Steele. Councillor Taylor. Councillor Thomas. And Councillor Yardy. Thank you, members. That is therefore 23 in favour and unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll go back
But
to
surely we
Councillor
have to take the whole recommendation. You've only taken part of it.
No, that was on block, parts 1, 2A and 3.
No, we've only voted on 1, 2 and 3. We haven't taken the whole recommendation. You've only done part of it.
Okay.
You need to take the whole recommendation, not just part of it.
Councillor Bonham.
Well, it seems to me that mandates the leader to write to the government on its behalf, outlining the council's concerns, etc., incorporates what we've said in previous pages.
Right, we move on. We can have a show of hands on the overall proposal, please. Favour?
That is therefore unanimous for the remaining substantive wording in the recommendation. Thank you.
The remaining wording in the recommendation has as I pointed out in the first, at the very beginning, has the 3rd paragraph in it, which I
Nikki, can I just say, I think that those that wanted to have had the opportunity to abstain on delaying the elections, and I hope they'll be satisfied enough. I'd be very disappointed if at a later stage, if members tried to twist it so that those members had actually supported in favour of not delaying the elections when it's clear that they haven't, and that's been recorded. That's the recorded vote. So I'm hoping
very, very clear.
Absolutely, and yeah, and so I think that is clear, and I hope that Julie and Alison are okay with that. Yeah.
Dodson, would you like a final word?
Well, I was just going to say that actually that's we've just voted, and the vote was in favour of that very point that is now being sort of brought up again. So the vote has actually spoken for itself.
Okay, I think everything is clear, and the vote's been done. Everything else, I don't think, apart from my bit, and I want to say how great it's been working with all the people in the council, the officers. They've been fantastic. The leader and everybody else. We couldn't get a better council if no matter where we go now. Unlike Nikki, I haven't been around that long, but I've been 6 years, and it's been a pleasure. I've never
We're
worked.
not going anywhere yet. It sounded like we're gone.
I got to rehearse my final speech. But thank you very much. Now, on that, I will close the meeting. Thank you very much.